Little Adam Schiff, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, which I think means he's supposed to have some intelligence. This is what he said when he was talking to Wolf Blitzer in the months leading up to the 2020 election, when he got asked about that very damaging Hunter Biden laptop.
Well, we know that this whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin. That's been clear for well over a year now that they've been pushing this false narrative about the vice president and his son.
Sound familiar?
And, you know, the idea that the president, that the White House counsel and others were made aware that Giuliani was being used by Russian intelligence and using Russian intelligence in the sense of meeting with an agent of the Kremlin and pushing out this Kremlin false narrative. The idea that they were knowing and still on the floor of the Senate during the impeachment trial, pushing this Kremlin narrative is pretty breathtaking. But I guess at this point, we can't be shocked by anything this administration does, no matter how craven. But clearly, the origins of this whole smear are from the Kremlin, and the president is only too happy to have Kremlin help in trying to amplify it.
It's not like Rudy
Giuliani.
Giuliani.
This came from the Kremlin, and this is exactly what we are talking about. He's very upset that this smear is running around. Well, what smear is he talking about? If you don't recall, this came over from the New York Post way before this is sort of been authenticated by the, quote, New York Times. We see here on October 14th at 5 a.m. Oh, very convenient. This was shortly before the November 3rd election in 2020 between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. And so now we've got this really damning story. New York Post says smoking gun email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian businessman VP to VP dad. Oh yeah, because Hunter's daddy was the vice president at the time. And very interestingly, Hunter Biden got thrown on the board of Burisma, this mega conglomerate oil company there, natural gas company. And for some reason, he was getting paid tons of money, even though he had no experience. And so a lot of people started to poke around as this election started to near, and they were asking questions. What was he doing on that board? We see very interesting emails like this came from 2015 when VP Daddy Biden was still there in the White House. Says, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to DC, giving me the opportunity to meet your father and spend time together. It's really an honor and a pleasure. We spoke. It would be great to meet for coffee. What do you think? On my way to the airport, V." Signed off on from somebody here from Ukraine, and he's even got .Ukraine at Gmail in his email. So in 2020, in the months leading up to the election, this might be a pretty interesting story to dive into. Oh, the president is sort of being carried around by a leash by his drug addict son to introduce him to business owners with other people around the world. Are there any quid pro quo, things going on here? Well, yeah, I mean, it turns out there was a lot of smoke there. And a lot of people were curious about what was on these laptops. And you would think that somebody like Adam Schiff, who is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, would know about what's going on here. We just heard him tell Wolf that this was all Kremlin propaganda. And if that's coming from Adam Schiff, the House chairman intelligence person, well, man, it has to be true, right? It should be. I mean, this is what they do there at the House Intelligence Committee. You can see there's a lot of sort of jargon here, but it says it's currently chaired by Adam Schiff. It's the primary committee in the House charged with the oversight of the intelligence community, the primary committee with the oversight of the entire intelligence community. Though it does share some jurisdiction with other agencies like the armed services and deals with some other matters with some other entities. But it's a big, very powerful, important committee. You can see, been around for a long time. Leadership, the chairman of this committee, Adam Schiff, pencil neck. He took office back on January 9th, 2019, and you can see that he's been in there ever since. And so when this starts, let's put a pin in that date, January 9th, 2019. January 9th, 2019. So that means he's sort of in charge of a lot of this stuff as chairman, oversight of the entire intelligence community. Sounds like it's a pretty big task. We can see there are 22 seats. It is Democratic majority. We've got the purpose to oversee and make continuing studies of the intelligence activities and programs of the United States government. Oversight authority over the entire intelligence community. It's got a Senate counterpart, and you can see the number of different subcommittees here. So when you have Adam Schiff, who's the chairman of this, going out on CNN, which for some reason a lot of people back then believed and still do, They were listening to him come out and tell them, I know a lot of things. I am the chairman in 2020 of the Intelligence Committee, and I've got oversight over all the IC. We also saw, based on his background in laying the foundation, stories like this that come over from Politico. Hunter Biden stories, Russian disinfo. Who says so? Well, I don't know. 50 former intelligence officials, plus somebody who is currently on the Intelligence Committee for the House named Adam Schiff. You got all these people in positions of power with a lot of experience, former intelligence officials saying, you know, this is all just, quote, classic. Oh, it's just classic Russian, classic Putin. We've been hearing that for a long time. I've been hearing that most of my life, my whole life, right? Russia's been this evil monster my entire life. Every time there's something that is happening that's problematic domestically, oh, we just bring out this dog to start barking, whatever it is. Russia's been one of them that wags its tail from our leaders, okay? So this is what the Politico article continues to say. They all signed on to this letter outlining, saying that this has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation. We know, if you've been paying attention to anywhere that is covering this, if there is actual coverage going on, you would see this. This is what they buried in the New York Times article, way about halfway down in the article, after they sort of buried the lead with their headline talking about Hunter Biden paying his taxes. Oh, he's a very good man. He pays his taxes. Buried deep down, it says the New York Times got all of this information, and look here, authenticated. Oh, the laptop, authenticated. It was abandoned by Biden in a Delaware repair shop. New York Times got a cache of the files, went through them. Turns out it was between Hunter, Archer, and others on the board of Burisma, all saying some very fishy stuff that we covered before the election. And tiptoeing around those issues because people were getting banned off the internet for discussing this. On Twitter, the New York Post themselves got booted right out of there. So the jurisdiction that the House Intelligence Committee covers is vast. It's very large and wide. You can see this is what it looks like. And let's just go through this and see who happens to be on here. Well, we have, of course, the FBI. Now, ordinarily, when they are, not playing Where's Waldo, trying to find the insurrectionists who almost seized America, they're supposed to be sort of a domestic law enforcement agency, keeping track on people domestically doing problematic things. If Hunter Biden is somebody doing problematic things here domestically, well, he might have shown up on their radar. And of course, because the FBI is under the purview, under the jurisdiction of the House Intelligence Committee, then we can see why Adam Schiff, Pencilneck, should have gotten, had some sort of idea about what was really going on with this entire allegation, saying that the entire smear that the Hunter Biden laptop, I guess, existed was being promulgated by the Kremlin, by the Russians. So look at this. He has more intelligence than most people ever in government ever get, right? You can see this. Office of the DNI, Director of National Intelligence, CIA, Defense Intelligence Agency, DOD, Department of Energy, Homeland Security, Justice. We've got DEA, National Security Agency, National Recon, all of them. And every time I look at this list, isn't it amazing? We have all these intelligence agencies and they couldn't secure the Capitol building. Isn't it amazing? There are like 1,000 people, 1,000 protesters, a couple thousand people out there, 1,000 or so, actually 700 or so actually charged. All of these agencies, like 17 of them, couldn't figure that one out. All right. So anyways, back to the original point, we've got Adam Schiff here, who is supposedly having oversight with all of his intelligence, supposed to be making sure that all of this is running according to plan. And we know, because there are documents that we've seen and revealed by the New York Post originally, came out that this is the subpoena that came for the laptop that was left at that repair shop that Hunter Biden, in probably a drugged out stupor, just left behind. The laptop repair owner made it available, made notice of it. FBI says, oh, that's a very interesting laptop you got there. You say that's the vice president's son's laptop. Whew. And remember, this is back in 2019. The election has not happened yet. So that was the former vice president's son's laptop. We get this happen December 17, 2019. We get a subpoena going over to the laptop repair shop, to whatever his name was, December 9th. You have to bring these items over to our courtroom. You don't need to come here personally. Just see the attachment and bring the laptop, basically, right? Drop that off there. So Adam Schiff, he was on the House Intelligence Committee when all of this was going on, when the FBI or whomever is drafting these subpoenas is drafting it, when it's going through the district court. That's going to be governed, right? There's going to be a U.S. attorney who's assigned to this case, who is prosecuting these things, demanding these subpoenas so that they can continue their investigation. Or it's going to be, FBI agents in conjunction with the U.S. attorneys to get all of that done. And Pencil Neck Schiff was on the House Intelligence Committee at that time when this is going on. We can see it here, December 17, 2019. So either he sort of knew this was going on, knew that these subpoenas were going out, could have easily, right? If there's any smoke there, he's on the Intelligence Committee. He sees this new, whoa, Hunter Biden is being investigated. I just saw this on CNN. I better look into this, shouldn't I? Before I go and run my mouth on CNN and say that all of this is about something that it isn't. He shows up. Oh, it comes from the Kremlin. And that was that was election season. That was in 2020. This was taking place in 2019. So he either knew about it and lied, or he should have known about it and is grossly, probably criminally negligent. He's in charge of the Intelligence Committee in the House. Woo! Well, maybe not for long. Of course, we know that there is an election coming up. We've got the House Leader McCarthy, who is here next. He's got some choice words for Adam Schiff, Schiff, who is shifty indeed, who is, I think at this point you can just say he just lied about that, right? At this point, if it's been authenticated, there are prosecutions. The New York Times is confirming that prosecutors involved in this current prosecution have authenticated it to them, and they feel, oh, we can print it now. The election's over. Trump lost, of course. Here's what McCarthy says.
2 years ago, Schiff stated the emails found from Hunter Biden were whole smear on Joe Biden comes from the Kremlin.
Liar.
That's what the head of the Intel said.
Right. Intel.
What did we just find out yesterday from the New York Times?
Liar.
Yes, it is Joe Biden's laptop.
See that?
And yes, Adam Schiff lied to us one more time.
Do you see that? He called it Joe Biden's laptop. Joe Biden's laptop. Ooh, so they're changing this from Hunter Biden's laptop to Joe Biden's laptop. See that little sneaky little shift there? No, I don't think he misspoke. I think that was intentional, saying this is Joe's laptop. And everybody else out there who covered for him lied for him, and he's going to take ownership of this. Ooh, what else?
Why is he still chair of the committee?
Good question.
And why is he even on the committee?
Great question.
In a new Congress, if it's a new majority, he will not be. You cannot make this committee political. You cannot use it as a position of a chairman to lie.
Well, listen, on that point, I'm not so sure I agree with that, right? They politicized it. If the Republicans win, wouldn't they be kind of foolish to not politicize it the other way? Like, are they going to get in charge and they're just going to go, listen, guys, we're going to go back to normal now and just go back and follow the rules. And the next time you guys get in power, you promise you're going to do the same thing. And they go, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll be nice next time. That never happens. If they don't go in there and start throwing political elbows, they're not going to be in there long, as far as I can tell.
And you should be focused on what the American people want you to be focused on around the world.
Yeah, he's right about that. And so that is the Republican leader, McCarthy, who is calling out that liar, Adam Schiff, which I think is basically clear now, right? Some of those things you have to kind of question and waffle around, but he came out and said, this is clear. I'm on the Intelligence Committee. He was introduced that way as being somebody on the House Intelligence Committee. This is clear. This came from the Kremlin. This smear was all originating out of them and blah, blah, blah. Turns out it's all authenticated, all true. There's actually, prosecutors from the U.S. Attorney's Office who were investigating it. All of it was kicked down the road because they didn't want it to come out during the election because they knew the American people would be disgusted by what is on that laptop, and they would have voted the other way. So he lied about it, and now he's being called out. He's apparently going to be reelected, I guess, probably still run for office. My question is sort of beyond why he is on the Intelligence Committee still. Obviously, he's got very little intelligence, and it sounds like he doesn't do a real good job running a committee. But he's also somebody still in Congress, right? If your Congress people are actually lying to you, don't you sort of demand impeachment? Well, I guess that would work in a functional government, which we don't have. What am I thinking? What do you think about this? Let me know down in the comments below. Pencil neck Adam Schiff. Liar, yes or no? Let me know what you think. Stick around. I hope you subscribe and join us on the next one. I look forward to seeing you there.